On today's episode of Beauty Behind the Brand, we are introducing you to Beatriz. Her role as an educator and sales representative at LumaPharm brings you a unique perspective to our conversation today. With her finger on the pulse of the industry, she not only understands the needs of professionals, but also the innovative products and solutions that LumaPharm offers that meets those needs. In this episode, we dive into Beatriz's journey from her humble beginnings to her current role as a respected figure in the beauty industry, while uncovering the insight into ever-evolving landscape of beauty education and product development, and gain valuable perspective on what it takes to thrive in the beauty industry. Okay, so we've got one of my faves on today's podcast, Beatriz. I'm so excited. I just saw you like a couple weeks ago, so this is actually great. We're on this call today.
Hi, Nicole.
Yeah, I'm so excited because I feel like I know you, but I don't know the details on how you got into the beauty industry and how you got connected with LumaPharm. So you have the floor. I'm excited to hear your story.
Amazing. Yeah, so it's been quite the journey. So really how I kind of got started was straight out of university. So I had initially gone to Western. I did my bachelor's degree there with a focus in marketing. So kind of like not really anything related to the beauty industry, to be quite honest with you. But of course, I always kind of had an interest in the industry. Like even at my time at Western, I worked in the hair industry as well as the beauty industry, just doing like reception and other tasks like that. So it was always something that I was really passionate about. And then fast forward 4 years after my undergrad, there was an opening at LumaPharm. I knew one of the girls that was working there at the time, and she was actually leaving the company and had reached out to me being like, oh my goodness, I'm leaving this amazing company. They're hiring. I don't know if you're graduating anytime soon, but I just thought I'd shoot my shot and see if you would be open to meeting with the owner of the company. I feel like you guys would get along super well. It's a booming industry. I know the company is going to grow. How does that sound for you? And I was like, oh my gosh, sure, why not? I'm actually graduating in 1 month. And initially I kind of had the thought of either, I was gonna like graduate and find a job right from the get-go and kind of get the ball rolling in my professional career, or I was gonna take a few months off and, travel a little bit and just enjoy some time off before I get into like the full swing of like real life. But anyways, this opportunity came along. So I met with Lisa, who's the owner of LumaPharm. And at the time, the position was more so like a marketing, social media role. But because the company was so small at the time, you sort of wear all hats when you start working at like a very small startup, right? So, anyways, we met, got along super well. It was perfect. I started work like literally right after graduating. And I did a little bit of everything. So I wasn't just focusing on marketing and social media. I was also dealing a lot with like account management, packing boxes, orders, invoicing, answering the phone, literally doing everything from the ground up. And it really gave me an opportunity to learn a lot about not only the industry and the products, but also just like how, to get started in startup as well. So in that time, Lisa was actually just bringing on a new skincare line to LumaPharm, which is our Green Envy organic line. And she didn't really have a sales rep on board for that brand. So she kind of turned to me and was like, listen, we have this new brand and we kind of need someone to push it. Um, would you be interested in kind of migrating more into a sales role? I'm open to sending you to an aesthetics program so that you can learn the ins and out of the skin, how it functions, how to perform a facial, that sort of thing. Then we'll get you all set up with, sales training and kind of take it from there. So when she had presented that opportunity, I was like in awe. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so for this. And that's kind of how I got started more so in the sales aspect of it. So I ended up going to the Canadian Beauty College at the Vaughan location, spent a couple months focusing specifically on skincare and facials. And then I started migrating into that new role at work, um, where I was, basically starting the brand from the ground up, in terms of marketing green envy to the Canadian market. So it was a lot of like prospecting, cold calling, dropping into spas, and really trying to build this brand. And then from there, I started working more so with Dermaplast, our medical grade line, and really built my foundation in the industry from there. I've been working at the company now for 4 years. I've built a huge clientele, and it is something I'm really passionate about. This industry, like I said at the beginning, is truly booming. There's so much to learn. There's always something new. So I'm always, trying to keep up with what's happening and, how I can provide my clients with, the most support when it comes to, education, hosting events, retailing products, making sure everyone is fully comfortable. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much how I kind of got started.
That's amazing. And I love that you were able to touch kind of every point of LumaPharm from day one and
Yeah.
watching it grow. And yeah, everything from packing boxes to like, yeah, client report, cash, like doing literally marketing, everything, and then getting into
Yeah.
the actual skincare part. Because to be honest, I look back when I did aesthetic school, which was like 10 years ago now, and how much innovation has changed and what there is to learn even now that wasn't taught in aesthetic school. And like you said, the industry's changing so much and so rapidly. And that's what I absolutely love about your position is you do marketing as well as sales, as well as education. You kind of cover it all. So when I come to you with a question, you know the answer when it comes to kind of all those different parts of the business.
A
As well as like,
thousand percent.
yeah, and it's not just being, I feel like as my point of being a spa owner, you're not just a spa owner. You're kind of wearing all the hats, like you said when you started at LumaPharm, where yeah, you're like a marketing person, you're an esthetician, you're now, yeah, packing boxes for e-commerce, you're HR, like you're literally everything. So it's so refreshing to be able to chat with someone like yourself, Beatrice, and knowing you know where we're coming from when we need the support as a business owner in the spa industry.
Yeah, and a lot of times we get a lot of like new estheticians or people who are just coming straight out of school inquiring about our skincare lines or even our devices too.
Yes.
So it's really nice when I can kind of relate to that. Not that like I've started my own business, but again, like just working from the ground up and like working in a startup from like start to like where we are now. And we're still growing at such a rapid rate, but it's been like a really good journey, especially starting so young in the company too. Just yeah, I have that kind of point of um kind of that connection with people who are just getting started in the industry. And I also feel like my marketing background has really helped me a lot in my position as well, because I feel like sales and marketing work hand in hand together, right?
Mhm. Or
Um,
even social
and even,
media. Like I just
yeah,
think of social
exactly.
media. Like as a spa owner, I feel like I'm a full-time content creator. Like
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and a lot of business owners struggle with that aspect, right? Um,
Mhm.
because again, you have a million things to do that sometimes social media is like you leave it on the back burner, but it's such an important thing nowadays to like market yourself and put yourself out there. So I'm always there too. Like if my clients are like, I need help like coming up with ideas or a post, or can you help me with this and that? And I'm all for it because again, like I have that background and I just want to see people succeed and do well. So I'm there for it all.
Absolutely. And you get that vibe from all of you at LumaPharm. Like even when I've met like you and Asha, for example, I feel like I've known you forever. Like it's just such a warm, welcoming company to be doing business with. And everyone is just so passionate to help you and to succeed, even with questions like I just laugh at all the questions I ask before purchasing, like the hydrobrasion, for example, or the Pro Cell. I'm like asking a million questions, and you guys know the answers. Like it's just you're there to help support us, and when you're looking for a company to do business with when it comes to devices or skincare, because obviously it's an investment for us as a business owner, but we just like genuinely enjoy when you guys come to our open houses. It's just such a positive experience, and my staff feel
Good,
the
I'm
same
so
way.
happy to hear that.
Yeah, like my staff feel the same way. They're like excited for you guys to come in because it's not like a boring, dry education like stuff
Yeah,
that we're
and
doing.
that's what we kind of like pride ourselves on at LumaPharm too. We're, a young, refreshing company, and we want to be able to relate with people and not just like go in and out and,
Mhm.
like you're learning this today and it's like boring, right? Like we want to be able to relate to our clients and give more of like that experience. It's not for us, it's not just about selling a product and getting you guys to purchase from us, right? It's about building that relationship. And that's where we see a lot of success in sales in general too, and I'm sure you know that as well as a business owner, where you're providing that experience for your client. You're, becoming friends with your clients. Like the amount of clients that I go to for like services, or even I just message like here and there just to catch up on life. Like it's like honestly, it's a really, really nice feeling to like build that relationship. And it's not just like work. It's like you've built friendships too along the way, which is really great.
For those who have been listening, you know I'm a massive fan of Squarespace, and I don't really know what I would do without them. With both our brick and mortar store as well as our e-commerce, I can do everything in one place. Whether it's e-commerce, I can do inventory, email campaigns, appointments, and so much more. Now, Beauty Behind the Brand has partnered up with Squarespace to offer you 10% off your first subscription. All you need is promo code PARTNER10. Oh, I totally agree. Because I always feel like, and I've heard this saying, I don't know exactly how it's worded, but it's like you want to do business with people that you actually genuinely want to spend time with. Like, you
Yeah.
don't hire a team just because, like, yeah, they're talented, but you genuinely want to be able to stand that person. You want to be able to feel confident in spending day in and day out with them. And that's how I feel with the team too, is you guys are just so much fun. Even at our open house, I think you and I laughed the entire time at each other. Like, we just had so much fun.
Yes, 1,000%.
We're just there to have a good time, and I think that's the energy you need at events as well as like during spa training, is like getting clients excited about new things, getting your staff excited. Now, going into kind of like that fall seasons, what are some of the trends you're seeing with facials that clients or spa owners should kind of keep an eye out for, bringing in some extra revenue or different services within their spa?
Yeah, for sure. So that's a great question because typically the summertime I would say is really, really busy in the spa industry, despite people traveling and all of that. Like I always find that I try to call my clients and no one wants to talk because they are booked entire days with appointments. And
Yes.
then come the fall time and the winter time, it tends to slow down a little bit, but you still have um that nice traffic too. But because of the season change too, you wanna, stay up to par with those trends and kind of switch up your service menu a little bit too. So specifically with DermaQuest, since that's the product line that you carry, we have a lot of nice like fall-based facial products that a lot of my clients will tend to kind of focus on come the fall or winter time. Although these products, of course, can be used all year round. What I usually recommend is that you offer kind of like a signature treatment to kind of get people through the door, right? So, a big
Mhm.
one that we find people are performing closer to the fall time is they're creating a series or packages of like our pumpkin treatments. So, the nice thing about the DermaQuest line is that we have two options. You can either create like a series package of like our chemical peel or primary pumpkin resurfacer for someone whose skin is acclimated to that type of exfoliation, to someone with a thicker skin barrier, someone who, is that consistent client and is used to that exfoliation. Or we have like our mini pumpkin mask treatment as well, who, it could be a good option for like a first time client, someone who's, just getting started with chemical exfoliation, someone who maybe wants to get into a series of chemical peels in the future. So you can play around with kind of themed sort of skincare items, um,
That's a great
which
idea,
does really,
especially with
really well.
like Halloween and fall coming. Like, that's just such
Yeah,
like, who doesn't want like a pumpkin
it's
spice
so
latte
funny.
with
I
a
laugh about it. Yeah, I laugh about it every year, honestly, because the mini pumpkin mask is like my favorite Dermaplast retail item because
I
it
agree.
smells amazing. It gives a beautiful glow. It feels like nice and spicy on the skin, so like it's working. And then come the fall time, everyone calls me and they're like, "Okay, I'm making my pumpkin packages now." And I'm like, "You can do this all year round." And they're like, "Yeah, but it's fall, it's Halloween." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. You know what? Make it fun and exciting for your clients."
I love
So that's you see a lot of. And then you can also create like little retail incentives as well, right? Like that mini pumpkin mask from Dermaplast is a huge seller of ours. But you can always do like a nice like masking package where you like throw in like a mini pumpkin mask with a fan brush with like a hydrating sheet mask and kind of do like a bundle promo on that for like
that.
the month of October and November, something like that. I don't know, something just like incentivize your client because that product specifically also works really well to retail your client in between chemical peel treatments too. So that way your client can keep up with their results from home. Um, you can also another way to kind of stay on with that trend of like the pumpkin and the fall time. I know you guys carry our devices as well, in particular our hydrobrasion and our ododerm. So a lot of people will pair that pumpkin mask in that service as well. So it's not something you're currently doing. It could be like a special that you do for the fall time. So you would pair like the mini pumpkin mask with the hydrobrasion treatment, or you could do the mini pumpkin mask with your ododerm treatment, or you can even do it with other services you offer too. Like I know you guys are big on dermaplaning.
Mhm.
That's a really big combo that we find with the mini pumpkin mask as well to kind of boost that end result and give a really, really beautiful glow to the skin. Um, and it's nice because that product is super results oriented.
Yeah.
So it'll keep people wanting to come back for more, which is great.
Mhm. And it genuinely smells like pumpkin. Like it's
Yeah.
not the artificial pumpkin smell. Like
So yeah, that would be my recommendation for that. It's also another recommendation I also have is having like a little event as well. I usually like to recommend clients having events like once a quarter, again with season changes, right? Like skincare is never like one, two, three, four all year round, same products you're using, right? So always having like a little education session, even like a mini facial event for your clients where you can inform them on the importance of changing up their skincare routine post summer after your clients, especially up there in Muskoka, have been laying out in the sun all summer. Ways to kind of help reduce that pigmentation, give that nice antioxidant boost to the skin, replenish hydration levels. I've seen a lot of success in a lot of my clients hosting little mini facial events or little education events where you can set up like little stations. It doesn't have to be anything big. It can be 1 hour sessions with like 5 clients coming in, and you have like a little setup with them with like a little desk, a little mirror, and you kind of walk them through like a facial routine, or like an at-home chemical exfoliation routine. I find that that is nice because it involves the client. You have them in your space, and it's very interactive in that way too. And then they go home with the products that you're using in that little facial event series too. It's just a nice way to get people in your door. Again, bringing that interaction, building that relationship with your community too. So that's something fun and exciting that some people do come the season change as well, or something that I would recommend doing too if you haven't implemented it yet.
those are all such good ideas. And I also joke, Asha and I always say I'm like the LumaPharm showroom, basically. I think we have all the devices now. But
You
it's
really do.
it's just like one of those things is having like, yeah, that theme or special. Like we just had a staff meeting and it was, yeah, talking about some of these exciting things to get your clients excited for these new things coming fall. I know we're
Yeah,
still like in summer months and it's hard for people to think ahead, but you want your books to be booked. Like you want your schedule to be booked looking forward into those months. And yeah,
a
getting
thousand percent.
people excited and getting them into yeah that kind of recovery mode from being out in the sun all summer and pairing some nice devices with active ingredients and um I think 2 events, I really like that idea. We did this event a couple times where we did like a facial night where people would
Uh-huh.
bring their girlfriend, and same thing, we just had like our manicure stations basically with a mirror and a bowl, and we just went over like what you should be doing from like a double cleanse all the way down to like kind of like that deluxe, what you would do as like your exfoliation, like that deluxe once a week kind of treatment to yourself, and then even bringing it down to what you should be doing on a day-to-day basis and different products we would recommend for them. And clients loved it. We just had a little bit of drinks and food for them. There was like maybe, I think the most we had was maybe like 8 to 10 women would come in, and
Uh-huh.
like a special that night if they purchased as well, to incentivize
Yeah.
purchase as well as rebooking a facial. Or we did a giveaway, we did like a draw as well for like a facial that night too. So that would be like a fun, without having to do like a massive event, it's just getting a couple girlfriends together, and it's a great way for referrals for new clients too.
1,000%. That's why I go back and talk about building that community too, right? It's like it doesn't, you don't always have to have like a full big Lux event, right? It's even if it's something small, quaint, really, it's nice and intimate. It gives people also like that sense of comfort as
Yes.
well. And
Yes.
that like you're not pushing anything, you're just there to like guide them, help them, and yeah, it's really nice. And then also kind of going back to what you said too about planning in advance, the beauty with DermaQuest too is that we have all those different collections, right? So
Mhm.
you can
Yes.
really like to be successful and like have, proper coordination and proper marketing, you can plan ahead of time. Usually I like to recommend, even like in social media wise, like planning 3 months in advance so that you have everything, set in stone and you're not scrambling to do everything last minute. So like a big collection that we like to push, or like products that we like to push in the summertime, I would say like our vitamin C collection, because again, that's when everyone's in the sun. We want to help to reduce or eliminate any sort of unwanted pigmentation, give a nice flow to the skin. So that's something that people tend to push come the summertime. Then you can plan for the fall, again, going more so into that like pumpkin theme. In like November, December time, you can focus on like retinol, educating your clients on the importance of retinol, why it's a good time of year to incorporate a retinol if they're not already doing so. Come, more like January, February time, we can talk about like compromised skin barriers. People are out, doing winter sports. It's super, super dry outside. You're seeing more compromised skin barriers like rosacea, psoriasis, eczema, lots of dryness and flakiness. You can highlight products from like our sensitized collection and create some sort of promo incentive event around that. So you have options with our product line, and that you can really specialize and focus on certain products all year round to kind of, garner interest in your clientele, and also just like make, fun incentives and events around that for your business too.
That's something that I think we really pushed the hydrobrasion machine last year when we got it,
Yes.
was with the monthly specials. Like that, as soon as, or even events, like there was a boutique clothing shop here in town that asked us to be part of their like event, and we just came in and did a bunch of demos. Like those devices are amazing for demos, for people just to get like that sneak peek, and then they get hooked and want to rebook. And that's where we really push the hydrobrasion, and I feel like it is our best selling facial by far. It's what the girls all love themselves to get done, so they're also like invested in promoting that treatment because they genuinely love it, and the results are there. And that's what we were kind of talking
Yeah.
about the open house as well, is kind of getting clients into those packages to start getting them to rebook and having those facials in advance. But that's where, even with the oxygen dome and things like that, we kind of got it at like the springtime, where we're going to start promoting it more in the fall. Same with the pro cell.
Yeah.
But those are like before and after treatments. Like I know you and I have had that conversation as well, as just talking about those before and afters and showing clients what their skin can look like after investing in their skin, whether it's at home as well as in the treatment room. Peaches, word of mouth marketing for Squarespace stores. Make more sales with Peaches Squarespace plugins. Get the #1 referral and affiliate software for your e-commerce store. Everyone wants to boost sales and reach new customers via affiliates or referrals marketing programs.
Word of mouth marketing is the best and most powerful, low cost, and way to grow your business online organically. All you need to do is get the right software to help your customers talk about you and influencers promote you and reward them for doing so. I will put my referral link down below.
Yeah, a lot of people get, they see the price point on these treatments and get a little bit overwhelmed, right? But you as the business owner, you of course have invested in these devices that are super, super results oriented. It's not like you're promising your clients anything, right? It's just,
Yes.
it's there, it's facts, right? So taking pictures, showing your clients, educating them on the importance of taking care of their skin, both at home but in treatment, is what's going to get them in the door, right? And like you said, offering little express demonstrations is a great way to get those clients in to just experience it for a bit. Because some people, to be honest with you, they do want to try it out,
Yes.
before
Yeah.
going like full swing, right?
Mhm.
So that's where we see huge success in event settings too, is having people experience the treatment a little bit, and that way you can really push package treatments, because that's where you're going to make your money as a business owner, and you're going to get your clients satisfied and happy too. Because at the end of the day, if a client comes in for one or two treatments, sure, they're going to get a nice glow, but if you can get them in for like that full package series, that's where the results are really at, and that's where they're going to get the best bang for their buck there too. So
Yes,
it's all worth it
exactly.
in the end to kind
Mhm.
of make that initial investment, and then it's great.
What I've noticed too with a lot of our clientele, we were talking about this actually at the open house with a couple of my staff, is there's so many people now because we were mostly like a nail and lash spa. That's what we were.
Yeah.
And then I started hiring a lot of staff that just naturally were really interested in skincare and more of like that medi.
Hmm.
And then it just naturally we were turning a lot of those nail clients and lash clients into now facial clients. So it's been such a great experience to see clients growing into kind of our growing service list where they're like, oh, what's it?
Yeah.
And even printing off every month, we have our special, for example, and then we print off our specials and put them on the manicure stations or pedicure area where they can see them. So it's in their face, but it's not at the same time. It's just kind of like a little friendly reminder about the specials and things that are going on. Because, yeah, like you said, the different seasons and different months are different type of services. So, like in the summertime, we're so booked with manicure, pedicures, waxing, lashes, and then come fall, those kind of die down a little bit. And then we're now going into lasers and lights as well as the more advanced skincare, facials and such too. What are some of the things you would tell your clients when it comes to telling your client, like if they've never had a facial before, is like a consultation a great place to start or to get them right into a treatment or at home care? Where's kind of your advice to get that client to start taking care of their skin?
Yeah, so it's all about that client journey. Again, um, especially if it's like a first time new client, someone who's like brand new to facials, really the aesthetic industry in general. I always recommend consulting with the client first. So ideally, bringing them into your space or your clinic, meeting with them in person. Again, it's all about that relationship building and building that trust. That's where you're going to see the most success. Um, Bringing in that person, kind of having that conversation with them, seeing what their goals are, what they're looking for out of, getting started in facials or even home care. Getting an idea of their budget too is important. But again, really just having that conversation and again, building that relationship with them, because that's what's going to allow that client to build that trust with you.
Mhm.
Um, from there, what I recommend is offering, breaking down your packages that you have available, and of course, what your recommendation is going to be based on what their skin goals or concerns are. Now, if a client only has, they have a tight budget, they, can't really invest in a package as of right now at that moment, what I always recommend too is focusing on home care. This is really cliche. A lot of estheticians say this, but
Yeah.
home care is like 80% of the results your clients are going to see.
Yes.
And really in treatment is about 20% of the results. So if a client has to get started somewhere and they can't do both, I always recommend getting them started on the home care, because that's something that they're going to be doing every single day, day and night. They're going to be investing in their skincare routine. Now, for treatments, ideally, obviously, you want to get them in the door for that, right? Because that's how you're going to sell your packages. That's how you can also cross promote for different services you offer in your space too. But always getting started on the home care is a nice leeway into that, because it gives the client the opportunity to play around with products at home in the comfort of their own home. And once they start seeing the results, especially because you guys do have results driven skincare, they're going to come back for more, because they want to see those results boosted with, say, a hydration service or a dermaplaning service or your Otoderm or your ProCell even. So always starting somewhere, whether it's the home care or the treatment. Ideally, if you can get both in one go, that's perfect. But I think the consultation is super, super important, both for you as like the practitioner or the business owner to, meet the client, get a feel for what they're looking for, what their goals are, but also super important for the end consumer who's coming in, looking for a new space, looking to get started on that journey, so that they feel comfortable, that they feel guided and educated, and that they're making the right decision when it comes to investing in their skin.
I totally agree with all of that. I really believe, and this is what I say to my staff too, is they're coming to us for answers because we're the expert in
Yeah.
the field, right? Like going in with confidence as the esthetician or practitioner, knowing, okay, I went to school, I'm educated on this, and then giving that the best consultation you can for that client and being 100% honest. Like that's the other thing is I feel like I'm naturally I mean I do sales, but I'm like not naturally a salesperson. Like it's taken a lot of time for me
Yeah.
to work up to. I mean, I feel like that's most either you're born with it or not, but I've been trying my hardest to become
Yeah.
a good salesperson. But the best results I have as doing sales is being honest with those clients and not selling them the most expensive face cream, because really like bringing them back to having those conversations with budget, seeing what they're using at home already and seeing what results they want from that consultation and these products and services that they'll be doing, but being real with them and saying, you know what, you could buy a 6-step routine, but let's start you with 3, see how your skin does with these 3 steps, and then let's introduce things in the next few months and move forward with some treatments that way as well as product. So I
and
think
people and people will appreciate you for doing that too,
exactly,
right? It's like,
exactly.
it's not about being pushy and like making all your money. You just want to sell this. Like, it's actually about helping your client. And
Mhm.
I always tell people too, when I do like retail and sales training with all my spas and clinic clients, like, it's really unrealistic to completely change up your client's skincare routine from start to finish,
Yeah.
especially if they're using another product line that they have been using for years. What
Mhm.
I like to do in order to kind of like get them in the door to like using DermaQuest or whatever other line you have, is like exactly what you said. It's just introducing, what I actually always love recommending is have your client bring in all the products they're currently
Yes.
using at home.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because a lot of times they're either like over exfoliating, using products that aren't even meant for their skin. A lot of people, there's so much information out there that it gets so overwhelming.
Yes,
So I
100%.
always like to have people bring in their products. That way you as a professional, you can take a look and see what they're using. And then from there, you can make your key suggestions of, adding in 1 to 3 new items. So
Mhm.
a big example I see is people using cleansers that aren't meant for their skin.
Yes. Yes.
So, you can take a look at that, look at the ingredients, talk to them about the ingredients that they're currently using, explain to them why this isn't necessarily suited for their skin, and offer them a solution. It's always about offering them a solution and how we're working towards their skincare goal. So you
Mhm.
can say, like, we have this cleanser, which is much more gentle. It's formulated in an aloe base with pineapple and papaya enzymes that would be best suited for your skin, because the ingredients in this cleanser tend to be a little bit overstripping, and that's why you might be seeing a little bit of redness and flakiness. So I would recommend that if you want to start somewhere, how about you change up your cleanser? We can see how your skin looks in a few weeks' time, and then we can add on from there, right?
Mhm.
Again, it's not about being pushy, it's about explaining to your client, offering that education, and that's where that relationship and that trust is going to build. And sooner or later they're going to, migrate into that full product line that you carry and you retail. And again, you're going to bring them into your door to offer the treatments that you have, because they trusted you from the beginning, because you were just easygoing, never pushy, and you can just relate to the client better in that way. And that's how I've seen success in just my professional career as well as a salesperson. It's not about being pushy, it's about really helping the client at the end of the day and offering them solutions.
Absolutely. And it's one of those conversations that you would want to have with yourself too, where if you were putting yourself in their position, what it would feel like. And even the verbiage, like you said, like, let's wait a couple weeks and see how your skin's doing with these changes. And yeah, having that real like having it as a friend, you're almost like helping a friend out with their skincare, like having
Yeah.
those type of
Yeah.
conversations. And that's what I find with any questions I have as well. Like your team is so quick to respond. If I'm like, oh, I'm having a consultation with a client, these are the concerns. I'm not really sure which one I would recommend. And your team's been great with like what services to be able to offer and or treatments and retail. But I find it's one of those things with clients, like I agree, even as a cleanser. Like I have changed my cleanser recently, yes, to DermaQuest, and I've noticed a huge difference in my skin. People are like, "What are you doing with different with your skin?" I'm like, I literally with cleansers. Like just the cleanser can make a world of a difference. It's your
It
base.
really is. Cleansers are so underrated, but a lot of people, most times, they're messing up their entire skincare
Yes.
routine just because they're not cleansing properly.
100%. And what I've been telling clients too is like double cleanse. I know it's like everyone, it's all over social media
Yeah.
right now. Double cleanse, double cleanse. But ever since I started doing that, what a difference. Because yes, I'm wearing sunscreen every day, but am I getting that sunscreen off with all the makeup and everything else that's on my face? Probably not every night without doing that double cleanse. And yeah, I've seen a world of a difference in clients as well as even myself. And I say that to clients. I'm like, this is what I'm doing, and I've noticed a huge difference in my skin. And making it like that personal connection with them.
1,000%. A lot of even people that I speak to, like every day, a lot of people that I've met in this industry have gotten into this industry because of their own skin
Yeah.
concerns or battles that they've dealt with in the past too. That's
Mhm.
another great way to kind of, relate to your client. But even in a way that you just said too, it's like showing them or explaining to them things that you do at home,
Mhm.
because that also gives them some comfort in knowing, like, okay, well, Nicole, the business owner, is double cleansing every day. I need to do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it
Mhm.
gives people more of that relation to and that connection to you, because if you're doing it, they should be doing it.
And that's the biggest thing that I say to my staff. Like when we bring in any line or device, I'm like, you guys have to try this because you cannot sell a product unless you try it and truly believe in it.
Yes, I completely agree with that too. And that's why we're so big on like our training and education at LumaPharm. Like the moment that you sign on a product line with us or a device with us, we are, there to train you from the get-go, because we want to ensure that everyone is comfortable.
Mhm.
And also, of course, that everyone knows what they're talking about. But then a big thing too with the skincare, especially when you're bringing on a new product line, is trying the products,
Mhm.
experiencing them firsthand, even with like our chemical resurfacing treatments. Like I always tell people, like, you should try them, experiment them on each other, just so you can get a feel for that sensation. Because once you start using the products and you find something that works for you and something that you really like, it is seamless for you to sell. A lot of estheticians have like a fear of retail and sales because, to be honest, like, they're estheticians, right? Like their main function and purpose and goal is to offer the treatment, perform a good facial, and that's it. But of course, as the industry has changed, we now have that whole retail side of things. From a business perspective, that's where you're making a lot of your money too. But a lot of us estheticians are intimidated by that. So really trying the products, getting that experience with it, and again, finding what you like, it makes it seem like it's not really sales oriented at the end of the day, because you can just seamlessly talk about something that you use and you like. And it gives more of that personalized approach versus being that pushy salesperson that really at the end of the day no one likes to be, if we're being honest here.
I agree with you. And Beatrice, that's a great closing note on this, because I couldn't agree more.